Hey all, welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Channel. I'm Darren, of course, and today we're going to go over something real simple. Probably seen this before, but we're going to go over picanha, what it is, where it comes from, and we're going to sous vide some for dinner tonight. So I got a couple here we're going to go over. I'll be right back. Let's talk about picanha.
Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter, sous vide and chilling from fire and water.
Alright guys, you don't need to see my face for this one, so I'm just going to go over this with you just so you can take a look and understand what picanha is. So picanha is, if you've ever went to a Brazilian steakhouse, it's really sirloin steak, but it's a certain part of sirloin. It's actually the top cap of the sirloin. And these here are individually packaged. These are from Grand Western Steaks. They're on the higher end of choice, which you can see there's a little bit of marbling here, not a whole ton. But when you're looking for picanha, a lot of times you won't be able to find it in the store listed as picanha. It's going to be a sirloin top cap steak, or you'll just see something like this, which is just a whole sirloin steak cut into a steak from a sirloin roast. So I've got this here because I want to show you the different pieces of the sirloin roast, because this is what you're most likely going to see in your local grocery store. You could actually ask your butcher to cut you just the picanha or the top cap, and sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. But this is really what picanha is. It's just a certain part of the cap steak of the sirloin, the top sirloin cap. So anything past a certain area here is not really considered picanha as far as Brazilian chefs are concerned. So it usually does have to have this fat cap here on the one side, and then usually a couple inches going inside. So what I'm showing you here, this is actually a cut from my local grocery store. They have top sirloin steaks on sale a lot of times, and this is what you'll get. $5.99 a pound. You get the whole top sirloin steak cut, and this is probably a little bit less than an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick. But this has actually the whole top sirloin in it. But so this is a whole sirloin cut from a sirloin cap, or a whole sirloin primal. So this here is the cap, and this is what they normally would call picanha. So if you see here, if I got a whole sirloin steak from my grocery store, this part here is called the sirloin, top sirloin cap. So this would be normally the picanha. You can see it's got that fat structure right here, just like this would be. Of course, this is a choice. It's a regular lower end choice, so it's not going to have as much marbling. And they didn't keep as much of the fat cap on here just because of the fact that they're selling this as a whole steak, and if they leave a whole lot of fat on here, people would complain. So under the picanha, you know, people want a little bit more of that fat, because that fat is actually really good when you start to render it a little bit and it gets a little char to it. So if you ever buy a sirloin steak at your local grocery store, a whole sirloin steak, you actually have some picanha in here, which is, this is the top of the sirloin, and if you cut this part off, you'd have picanha. So what I'm going to do with this, guys, is going to be really simple: salt, pepper, garlic. I'm going to take it out of the packs. We're going to go ahead and season it up. We're going to sous vide it, so I'm going to put it in the vacuum bags, and then we're going to sous vide it at 134 degrees for about 5 hours. For me, 5 hours is right on picanha, because it gives it just enough time to tenderize. The 134 is going to make it nice and medium rare. It's going to render some of this fat in the bag, so I don't have to worry about trying to render it all on the grill when I sear it up. And that's it, guys. So let me get this out of the packs, and we'll season it up. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I got my steaks here out. These are individual picanhas. That's what they're called on Grand Western. So if you look up picanha on Grand Western's website, Grand Western Steaks, this is what you'll have. This is these are, like I said, higher end choice, and they had a special. They were buy one get one free for packs of 6. So I got 2 packs of 6. So these are pretty easy to cook. One of the things I like about the way Grand Western does these is that they cut them pretty even and pretty consistent, and they leave just enough of the fat cap on that you really don't have to trim these up. So you're not really paying for anything that you didn't want. So you could trim a little bit more of this fat off if you wanted to. But what I found with them is that they leave just enough of this on that it makes it render really well in the sous vide bag, and then when you're searing them up, it's just enough fat to really enhance the flavor of the steak overall. So like I said, with these, we're just gonna simple salt, pepper, and garlic, nothing fancy. We're gonna do a sous vide cook of about 5 hours at 134. I found 134 degrees. Still makes these medium rare. It's enough temperature to render the fat a little bit. Alright guys, so that's it. Salt, pepper, and garlic. We're going to put them in the sous vide bag, stick them in here. This is almost up to temp. Thanks for watching. I'll be right back, and we'll take these out when they're done, and we'll sear them up. I'll be right back. Alright guys, these are done. I took them out, patted them dry off already. You didn't need to see any of that. My fire is going pretty good. You can actually see the flames flicking up out of the top over there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to take a little bit of this duck fat spray, and we're going to put just a little bit on here on both sides. And I got a little bit of rosemary salt, some thyme, garlic, and a little salt and pepper. We're just going to add just a little bit more seasoning to these, because some of that has come off during the sous vide cook. That duck fat is going to let the new seasoning stick, but it's also going to give us a little bit of good char on the steaks as well. Get a little bit of that duck fat flavor on there. All right guys, let's get over to the grill. All right guys, my flames are really high. Now we're going to start off just putting them on the lower grate here just to get a nice quick sear, about 45 seconds or so, less than a minute. Doesn't really take long. That's super hot, and I have the lid closed so I can keep the flames down. That fat's going to render and hit the flames and really going to get the flames high. So if you close your lid, it restricts oxygen. You don't have as high a flame. So I'm going to do it on both sides. Then we're going to go ahead and move them to the top rack and get them just a little bit more of that sear, another 40 minutes or 40 seconds or so on each side, and it's going to be done. So that's really hot in that grill. So when these are done, they're done. You check out the flames, guys. Like I said, make sure you close the lid. All right guys, let's go ahead and cut into this. I can't wait. Got two of them here. These are pretty thick. Like I said, we sous vide these at 134, so they still should be pretty medium rare. I'm going to cut this one right in the middle so you can see it. Look at that. That's nice and medium rare right there. I'm going to go ahead and cut a slice off. Still some of that fat right there in the middle. Awesome. Wow. Super tender because we sous vide it. That's pretty awesome, guys. Check it out. Make sure you check out Picanha. And now you know what it is. You can ask for it at your grocery store. Top sirloin cap steak. And if they can get it for you, just have them keep the fat cap on. Check it out, guys. Thanks for watching. Follow me on the Fire and Water Cooking Facebook group and page. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you on the next Fire and Water Cooking video.